Welcome to Unit 4. We're going to study chemical bonds. Chemical bonds are forces that hold the atoms of a molecule together. And as we've seen, atoms have protons in the nucleus and electrons in various orbits around the nucleus. And the valence or outermost electrons are the ones that are involved in chemical bonds. Just so you know, there are 6 types of chemical bonds. We have ionic, we have covalent, we have hydrogen, we have metallic, we have these things called van der Waals bonds, and then we have peptide bonds. But in this unit, here's what we're going to do. We're going to focus in on the 2 primary chemical bonds, ionic and covalent. Okay? All right. Ionic bonds result from attraction between ions. Okay, and we've studied what ions are. And they're usually formed between a metal and a nonmetal. A very common example is table salt. Chemically, it's sodium chloride and has another name called halite. In the case of covalent bonds, atoms share 1 or more pairs of electrons. And it's common between 2 nonmetals. The most common example of a covalent bond is water. Good old H2O. Now, covalent bonds actually come in 2 types, polar and nonpolar. In the nonpolar covalent bonds, the electrons are equally distributed between the atoms. However, in the polar covalent bonds, the electrons are not equally distributed between the atoms. And what's interesting is it's this unequal sharing of the electrons between oxygen and hydrogen atoms in water that give rise to some of the amazing properties of water. Things like cohesion and adhesion and surface tension and becoming less dense when it shifts from a liquid to a solid that allow water to support life. All of which is more evidence that God, who designed His universe, He did it purposefully so that we could exist and enjoy a relationship with Him. So, have fun learning about chemical bonds.